sort of media presence off the ground. So I've always been an advocate of empowering folks to be able to be better storytellers, empowering community members to tell the stories of their own communities, and especially, and this is something that is important to me through the Acronist, is to give people a voice who may not otherwise have it, especially those people who are, marginalized in our community or breaking stereotypes and stigma. I've worked on a number of projects that help people to realign their perceptions through just sharing a story about what makes us humans, what makes us interesting, and helping people to make those connections through storytelling. So yeah, I do look forward to working with you all on this project. Thank you.
Wonderful. We've been working with Chris for many years, so it's such a privilege to be able to take our partnership to the next step as well. And we love the fact that this is going to be global. This is going to be very much a shared resource with our partners in Serbia, and they will be contributing to the modules as well. So, and Juan, I wanted to see if you want to say a few words on behalf of Global Ties Akron and the process that we've been going through so far for selection.
Yeah, so, sorry, my cat is wanting to say hi too, so. Just, as somebody who has worked in media and also happens to be the president of the board, I'm really excited about this project. And just like Chris was saying, and it's about, breaking stereotypes and, mobilizing our local communities for a common goal. In our case is to, not just break stereotypes, but bring the world together in different areas, business, education, government, and so on. So this project goes really well with our mission, and it's the prospect that we have college students working on it is just really exciting. And I'm as the president of the board, I'm involved in the project in some way, but I'm also an educator, and I can also facilitate in that capacity too whenever I'm needed. So
thank you, Juan. Yeah, and Teresa has been part of this since its inception. So I'm going to add a couple of comments. Actually, we'll come back to, you'll say something once we do our introductions of the students, and then you can help start the introduction of the project. So is that good? Mm-hmm. Okay. So our students that are with us today, let's start with Ramon. Ramon, can you give a brief introduction of yourself as far as your studies and some of your experience because you already have some really good experience doing some citizen journalism and journalism, and why you're interested in this project.
Hi, so my major is media studies and my minor is international politics. And I've been working with videos for about 10 years so far. I'm interested in this project because I want to learn more and so far, be able to explain to people and tell stories in a way that that could catch them. But yeah, so that's about it.
All right, thank you, Ramon. And Taylor, if you could do the same introduction.
Okay, hi. I go to Kent and I study magazine journalism, so I'm more on the print side of things. I do have a little bit of experience with multimedia stuff, so I do a lot of photography. I've done a little bit of video and audio. I did an internship with the Devil's Trip this past fall, so I was in Akron a lot doing that. I have a creative writing minor, so I study poetry. And I've actually had the opportunity to teach poetry in Akron, at the school system. And then right now I teach at the Juvenile Detention Center on Dan Street in Akron. So I've been around in the community a lot, and that's kind of the reason I wanted to do journalism, was just to connect people. I think that you know, the reason this project was something I wanted to be a part of was we all lead such different lives, and you know, each one of us, even if we do have a similar background, are very different, but at the core of us we all share the human experience and can experience, you know, empathy towards each other. And I think storytelling is so powerful and can connect us. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming from.
All right, excellent. And then Allison? Allison with an I.
Okay. Hi, I am the other Allison, and I go to Akron. I am not a journalism person by trade. I am a finance and international business student. So I am kind of debating on what to do with career fields and trying to get different experiences to lead me to that. I'm interested in international finance and kind of that economic side of that, how fair trade works, that kind of stuff, and just kind of that like sustaining humanity throughout the world through the concept of money. I think that's very interesting. I also have a slight inkling to be a human rights lawyer, and that's something that really drew me to this, to get a different experience, to be able to share the story of these people that don't always get their story told. And to just have kind of that different experience, just more global relationships, I think is something that everyone should be able to experience.
Excellent. So also as part of our team, not everyone could come join for the intro meeting at the same time. We're having another meeting tomorrow evening at 6. So joining us at that meeting will be Brittany, Chris, Allison with a Y, Brooklyn, all from the University of Akron, and John, who is our intern, but also will be going through the process with us as well. And then we have from Ohio University, Katie, and then from Kent State University, Angelo will be joining. Taylor, do you know Angelo?
No, I don't actually. I don't think I do.
Okay, great.
But I'm excited to meet them.
So I have a quick question for you before we move into more of an introduction from Teresa and myself. We have collected from each of you your introduction videos, and we'd like for you guys to get to know each other a little bit more. If it's okay, could we share those videos for you guys to watch, you know, each other's introduction video?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
And if for some reason you would rather not, just send me an email, but they were all really, really good. I think it would be great for you to get to know each other. Okay, did I miss anyone on the introductions that might have joined us later? Nope, so we're good. Okay, moving on to our next slide. And before we start into this, Teresa's going to do more of an introduction and myself, and then we're going to talk to a little bit about the process of how we were very fortunate to get this amazing project.
My name is Minnick. I taught at Kent State, and I worked with less commonly taught languages and methods courses for teacher preparation. And I've been on the board of Global Ties for quite a while. I'm vice president now of Global Ties Akron, and I'm also chair of the Global Education Committee. And so Michelle and I have worked on many global projects together in K through 12 schools, with working with teachers, and also have collaborated on some of the international visitor leadership programs, things that I get involved in because Michelle is very active. So anyway, it's my pleasure to be here, and Michelle and I think Michelle's going to explain a little bit how we got involved in this project, but do know that you're really quite a unique group because there were only 6 selected from across the United States to be matched with 6 partners internationally. And she'll go into that because we have some slides on that, but we really think you're all unique people, and we're excited to join with you on this project.
And then myself, I'm actually a graduate from Kent State University in international relations, and I've been working in citizen diplomacy for, 28 years or so, and absolutely love the opportunity for us to bring people together, person to person, to really discuss our mutual concerns, our mutual talents, and share cross-culturally so that we can get down to the opportunity to create stronger relations with individuals, institutions, and countries around the world. So, this is all about citizen diplomacy, and this project, we're part of a national network called Global Ties US. In fact, I'm going to DC on Wednesday, and we'll be hopefully meeting with some of our World Learning colleagues that we're working with on this project. And some of the State Department representatives from the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Exchange, where this project is sponsored through that part of the State Department. So leading into the opportunity to even apply for this, it came across through our Global Ties US newsletter, and it was a pilot initiative. It had a very short turnaround for the initial proposal, and we said, what the heck, let's put our proposal in there. We had some ideas that we already have been thinking of, and one of them, thanks to Chris Miller, has been citizen journalism. We've had a lot of conversations about the struggles of journalism and the struggles of today's media, and kind of taking a story and not really giving it the proper research and proper approach, and people are becoming more segmented in society because they follow the one channel. They don't, expose themselves to multiple voices and multiple perspectives. So this we thought was a really great opportunity to focus on citizen journalism, and the overarching project theme that we had to initially focus on was cultural heritage. And cultural heritage, many times people think of buildings that are important to a culture, or museums, but there is a lot of intangible cultural heritage. And in our community, we narrowed it down to working with the Bhutanese and Nepali refugees who have been displaced from where their origins were as a culture, and they still are maintaining many of those components of their cultural heritage through music and language and arts and cuisine, and that enriches our community. So that is where our particular focus came in.
And that's why we're so excited to have Puspa as a member of our team. Not only is he a member of our core team, but he's also our liaison with the Nepali Bhutanese community. He's also going through the training of being a citizen journalist, and he also is doing incredible things, as you'll be reading about in the community. He has the Himalayan Music Academy teaching music dance, and we'll definitely share his website and Facebook, because I think you're going to be impressed what this person has done, as we have. So I just wanted to really emphasize that we have some great partners for you.
Puspa, do you want to add to that some?
Yeah. Yes. Himalayan Music Academy is always in the multicultural area where thousands and thousands of different people are from different parts of the country. So we are very excited to see it and exchange our cultural things, and to learn at the same time, to learn from them. So, and there are so many kids and adults, they are interested to learn all these things, and we are it's privileged to hear those things, to teach them all cultural things, art, music, everything. So our main aim is to continue this thing forever in the North Hill and this area. So where people who do not know about our culture, they will know, and then our youngsters, they will get chance to learn all these cultural things. Yeah.
Excellent. And I'm sure that many of us will be visiting the Himalayan Music Academy because it is a hub in the community, and PUSPA's already helped to recruit a few of the community leaders who are interested in taking part in helping have their stories be told. So you can read a little bit more about the project. I just wanted to share this with you because I wanted you to know that our little organization here in Akron, Ohio, and globally, that we're part of an amazing group that were selected as part of this first 6 projects to launch the Communities Connecting Cultural Heritage, including the Smithsonian Center for Folklife and Cultural Heritage, Gallaudet University, who's working on a project involving hearing disabled, the Center for Fine Arts in Brussels, Belgium, which is an amazing art center, and the list goes on. The link that's included on this particular screen, you can go in and learn a little bit more about their projects, because each of us have a different project that we proposed and that was successful in being selected for this initial pilot. So I encourage you to do that because it is really interesting. So do you want to say a little bit? You probably know this is mostly an overview of our project, and we're going to kind of go through this part fairly quickly because we want to get to some of the exciting components of how the stories are going to be told and shared. So this is just the basic overview of the project. These are some quotes that from myself and Puspa and Teresa that were part of our proposal and part of our PR.
And although we're going a little bit quickly here, you are getting a copy of this PowerPoint. So just know that you're going to be getting all of these materials.
Don't worry about writing down notes. We'll have this available for you in time for questions too. So our timeline here, we're going to be going over this a little bit more, but we're going to be sending you a calendar and you're talking a little bit more about these deadlines as we go. It is a quick turnaround for this project because we are the first of the partners that are going to be hosting the delegation from Serbia here in our community. So we're on the creating end of the online magazine with the web design, and we are creating with the modules for learning. So bear with us because there might be a few little bumps along the road, but we're really looking forward to this, and we have seen some of the work you already are doing, and we just cannot wait to see the results. So this was included in the application, but did want to review real quick some of the benefits to you, our citizen journalists. Teresa, do you want to kind of go through?
Yeah, well, one of the things we really wanted to make sure that we respected you as students and pretty heavily engaged in studies. So whatever work is entailed would be really meaningful and beneficial to you. And then also think of ways that it could help you as you move from your college career to your professional career. So one thing we thought that would be very exciting for you is that you're going to be really connecting with community mentors in journalism. So you've already met a little bit Chris Miller, who's not only with the Akronist, but he's also with Akron Community Foundation, heavy into grants. So you're going to have a great opportunity to get to know him. We have other mentors such as Yoli Miller, and she's just one of the ones that's at every cultural event and does a lot of, as a private citizen, promoting, supporting the Akron community with all of them. And she's even does more than beyond that, but just as a quick introduction. And you'll get to meet these mentors throughout. So we think that might be very helpful to you. We have mentors in storytelling. I know some of you, I think it was Taylor that mentioned that she was really into photography and different aspects in that. Another thing is the recognition you'll get in a publication, an online publication, in our global magazine. So we hope that serves you well. You're going to be collaborating with Serbian citizen journalists who are going to be working on the Global Threads project from their end with their population. And you will receive a national and international certificate of recognition. So it'll be a certificate that's signed by the international community as well as national partners. So we hope that serves you well with your portfolio. And then, as you can see in the big, I'm surprised we didn't bold it, but two of you will be able to go for 2 weeks to Serbia and have that experience. So we're really happy to afford that opportunity to two of you. And there's going to be some other little perks throughout, but this is the main benefits that we have detailed for at this point.
Okay, and we wish we could take each and every one of you to Serbia. We will take you vicariously with us if you're not two of the selected, but it will be competitive and there will be a team that will help with the selection process. So a lot of that will go into your commitment to this project and the work that you do, and just some of the items that you submit for publication or for draft publication, because we do have to make our decision in just over a month actually, so that we can make sure there's time to get passports and visas we don't need visas, but passports all processed. And those that cannot join, we will make sure you also have some special items that we'll bring back from Serbia as well. And there will be some tchotchkes and fun things that we'll have for you. I'm sure you'll be doing some taste testing of some of the wonderful Nepali food and attending events. And we're hoping to get some press passes and such. So we're glad you're joining us for this ride, and we're looking forward to it.
We hope that these benefits are meaningful to you.
Okay, let me see why it's not letting me go to the next one here. Bear with me a second. My slide does not want to go forward. Okay, here we go. And let me just clear that. Okay, so this is our timeline. So as you know, you guys are all of our amazing citizen journalists that have been selected. We were so impressed with each of your applications and are glad we have this great team. You guys have different skill sets, so we'll all be learning from one another as well. The online training will be, mostly over the next 6 weeks that you'll be doing the training, but simultaneously we will be matching you up for your article topics so that you can get started. We do understand the schedule of students, so when you have some free time 1 week, you can work ahead a little bit. If you can't do something that for a week or so, then you could catch up later. So, and then we'll have our launch event happening in mid-April, and you guys will all be celebrity guests at that. So we all hope you can join us on either or both April the 20th and 21st for the 2 launch events. Okay, and then we have the mentors, as we mentioned earlier, that will be going over this a little bit more in detail as the process goes on. But we will be matching you up with, a mentor or a couple of mentors that you can check in with when you're doing your editing or have questions, or just want to be able to go through your drafts and things like this. So we have a checklist for this week, and I'm going to talk a little bit right now about Slack. I know a couple of you did try to go in and join Slack. My apologies. I should have told you to wait till I send you the email invite, because that's what's going to give you the permission to go ahead and set up your account in Slack. But I will be sending that out immediately following this session, and then you can go ahead and set up your account in Slack. Slack is a online meeting space, and it has a lot of different components to it. We've been using it with our national partner, so we've tested it and tried it out. You can do everything from sharing videos, sharing data, having conversations, both phone and audio, or phone and video, or typing. So we're going to use it to hopefully its full capacity.
Yeah. And I think you'll be somewhat familiar with the environment because it's like a learning management system. So with university students, you've been involved with things like Blackboard and those different types of products. So, but it's the one that our international organization uses, and so you'll see a lot of similarities to a learning management system.
And they do keep it kind of fun, so so we like it. Sometimes it can be a little bit glitchy, so let us know if you do have any challenges. I know on my computer here sometimes it's a little slow to load, or I have to go in and select a certain, because I have multiple accounts, I have to go in and actually select my account so it'll come up. So if you run into any questions, just let us know. And then we're going to have, right now I have 3 channels that are set up, and I'll be sending you instructions for what you'll be working on this week for Module 1. And then we'll be having you in Channel 2, which is Cultural Resources, watch one or both of a movie that has been done about the Bhutanese refugee history and the situation as to why they had to leave Bhutan and go to refugee camps in Nepal and then come here to the U.S.
And I think that video was 30 minutes. The other types of samples that you're going to see, which Michelle jumped, sorry, is in Channel 3. A lot of the video samples you're going to see are like 1 to 2 minutes, which you know is the appropriate length for whenever you put something online, because most people don't have they're not going to spend more than that time looking at something. But the Bhutanese one is a half hour, but most other things you're going to find are 1 to 2 minutes.
And that the one that is on there, that's the half hour, is broken into 2 parts, so it's 2 half-hour components, and you can watch it at your leisure. We just want to kind of get you started in getting to know the cultural heritage of the Nepali Bhutanese community. And we'll be adding some other things to it. These will be the longest ones. Most of the modules, thanks to Chris Miller and to the Acronis and some of the others that are submitting modules, are very short, but also come with some supplemental materials for you to review. And I know students, you guys can multitask, so I'm sure that you'll be able to fit it in to your schedules as you're able to. Okay, now the exciting part here. We're working on the website right now, and we've selected initially this template called Kurag, but we're in the process, because it doesn't have as much flexibility for us to individualize and cover some of the components that we would like to include. We may be going with a different template, but a similar look. So we're going to go in and show you a little bit right now about our sample, what our wonderful website designer, who's a student here at the university, Xiao Feng, has been working very hard with us on setting this up. So I'm going to talk a little bit in a moment about Aesop's Story Engine, but we're going to use that app. It's a free app for you to be able to add your story components in to the different pages on the magazine. So we'll be working together on that. We haven't decided. Probably you'll be submitting materials to us and we'll add it in, and then we can edit it together to make sure it has the look that you would like for your story. So let me just show you real quick here. As I'm doing this, does anyone have any questions so far? Are you guys all out there still?
Yeah. We're here.
Yeah.
Sorry, a lot of talking. We'll get to some more time for questions. But does anyone have any questions? As we're still in talking on things. Okay, so we'll move along here then. So this is the link to a sample page. Let's see, I may have to go out of here. It's slowly going in. Let's see, here we go. It's finding it.
Wow, it's Momo.
Yes. Who's getting hungry here? Have any of you,
Yeah.
I know Chris has gone over to
Yeah.
Nepali Kitchen.
Yep, I think Chris had that.
I was just there like 2 weekends ago, and it was super good.
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, I went a year ago and it was really good.
Well, some of the things to start thinking about is what kind of articles would you be interested in doing? And we'll send out some kind of frameworks of what we're looking for in different topic areas. But of course, one of them is cuisine. So if you like to get into food photography or, videotaping, if you like to cook, this might be a fun area for you to do a story in.
And we have a mentor for you. Her name is Shane Lynn, and she has excelled in food photography, among other photography that when she's introduced to you at a later connection, you'll learn about. But so we have some nice mentors for you if you're interested in that area.
So we want to try whenever possible to include a recipe and maybe a food demo so that people can see how the item's made and the ingredients that go into it. This is a online site that we found that shows Nepali cooking. So this is again a wonderful sample video that you can look at and see how others have done their how-tos.
And we should probably add this as one of the benefits of being involved in this project is the research is so tasty. I mean, we really encourage you. We'll give you some of the restaurants. There's another restaurant, Everest, some of the places to go. And if
Grocery store.
yeah, they have different grocery stores. So your research should be pretty interesting.
And the music and the beautiful colors and
Yeah.
everything is wonderful as well. One of the components we want to have part of each story is a map. We're working a little bit with Google 360, and we're hoping to work locally with New Territory, which is a virtual reality studio, and maybe do some 360 video. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know, because we'll need to get in touch with them, but they may be able to help us with sharing a little equipment and working with us so we could have a visit to our local North Hill community using that virtual reality and 360 photography so that others can have that experience in case they can't get there themselves. So we know we'll have other people watching this from other parts of the country and the world. So we're looking forward to that. We also want to feature with the stories of our Bhutanese Nepali community. Many of them left from Bhutan and were in refugee camps in Nepal. Some of them were in India. And then when they were brought over to the U.S., many of them went to other communities before coming to Akron. So we want to map out their story as well and their journey and experience. And then there's other components. You will be featured about, you're being the author of the article and the story and everything as well. If you're not comfortable with one of the topics or, one of the skill sets, such as if you're not really that great at photography or, editing, then that's where we want to have some time for you to work with each other, or we'll work together, or work mentors and sort it out together. So this is what we're looking for the home page to look like. And then there'll be different sections for the different cultural components. I don't know that this one's linked right now. Let me see. So this is one of our local community members, Amber Suba, who is also a musician. So yeah, you can go in and play with us a little bit just to see some of the components and things that we're thinking of, to have audio in here for music, pictures, a photo album of the different instruments, music demo, performance demo. So, I mean, not every story is going to have all these components, but we want to show you the capability and what we're looking for as far as some of the components.
And as Michelle said, we're looking for something that's going to really engage people, because we want more of the Americans and recent, people in our community to start connecting more. And so we're hoping that this magazine is one way to facilitate that. So since everybody's attracted to different things, we'd like to see the articles be very multimodal, so that you have video, you might have the text, of course, a lot of visuals, sound. So we're really trying to appeal to a lot of different audiences in order to get them more engaged in what's going on and what's so exciting in Akron with our multicultural community, and get them understanding and appreciating that we are and need to be a multicultural community.
So do you have any questions about the story pages, the drafts that we're putting together at this point?
So what you're showing us, are those like real stories, or those are just like demos, like the website hasn't been published yet?
Well, this is a demo website, but some of these are real stories. The National Trust, you can speak to this too. They have had quite a few stories that have been told over the last couple of years. But we're going to be covering more in depth. We're going to be opportunities to take people into the visit, experience the arts and culture, and support the business.
Okay.
So Chris, do you want to mention? Okay, Chris lives in North Hill, and he actually has covered quite a few stories. Okay, well, we'll come back to that.
But so again, another resource we'll be showing you is the Akronist, the online paper, and you could do some searches in there for some of the articles on that have already been published on the community.
And we'll be giving you in Slack, this PowerPoint will be in there, but we'll also email it to you so that you can go in and just kind of look around to get start brainstorming and getting some ideas. This is ASAP Story Engine, and we're going to be playing with this a little bit to test it a little bit more, but it's to simplify the process of adding in the different components for your stories. You can download this for free. I wouldn't play with it too much just yet. I'll be talking to the web designer next week and just make sure that he's able to seamlessly work with ASAP Story Engine components into the web template that he's putting together right now. But so we'll give you some more information about that here soon.
And before next steps, let's go back and just do a quick review so that you're comfortable with what your role and responsibilities are. So we're going to go back. Yep, there it is. There it is. So these are some of your responsibilities so that you can start to feel comfortable with your workload. The first thing it mentions are to complete the online modules by March 15th, attend required meetings. Once matched with a mentor, check in with that mentor at least once a week. And we're not expecting that doesn't have to be face to face. It could be your preference. It could be by email, it could be by phone, but you need to be communicating once a week with your mentor. To submit your written, photo, video, and other materials in draft form by March 15th, and submit final materials by March 30th. And then, of course, the application to Serbia. So we're expecting you're going to be doing maybe a couple of articles. One would be on your own. Another one, it might be, you're doing one full story. So that incorporates a lot of different components. And then we hope that you will collaborate with somebody in the team and create another story. But we really are looking for one really full story that just for this online newspaper. Sorry, I stumbled there. So do you have any questions or concerns about your role and responsibilities and workload? The mentors do, it's not up to the mentor to initiate the contact. It's up to you once you give the mentor to be responsible once a week. So you work pretty much independently, getting to know each other, connecting with the community. We will be giving you a list of things that you could explore, investigate, restaurants, music places, people, grocery stores. There's many events that are going on at the Exchange House. The Exchange House is in North Hill, and it's an Airbnb, but it's really a community center, and there's a lot of Nepali Bhutanese events there, from theater, music, discussions, workshops. There's many different things going on there, and that will include in your calendar, and we encourage you to be a part of that, because as you'll learn, it's important to get to know people before you have that trust in order to review in that. So okay, I'll stop Allison, and let you have any questions.
Yeah, Allison, I think you have a question.
Sorry, I was muted. I did not,
at
at least at this point in time.
It light up here. So
I did.
If you have a question, go ahead and speak up.
So were you saying that you wanted us to do like smaller stories and then one big story? I was confused what you meant when you said one big story.
So one full story, similar to what you saw on the sample page, would include different components. So just to kind of give you an idea, let's help to connect with some of the community. I'm talking to some of the leaders that are working with.
Hold on 1 second. It's hard to hear you, Michelle. When sorry, Raymond. When your mic is on, it like overpowers Michelle.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah.
Okay. So to do a full story, we're going to be having those various components, not necessarily all of them, but if you're doing a story that is food focused, then you're going to be doing some video, some photo, some cultural history of the individual or the family that's being featured. So, I'm sorry, ingredients.
Yeah, because they might have specific ingredients that they're using, and it might be interesting if the ingredients cannot be purchased here, how they went about substituting. So, that whole process of two cultures coming together. They might use specific types of utensils in the preparation that may not be as common with some of the households, the non-Nepali Bhutanese households. So that's what we mean by a full story. It won't be just going in and interviewing and finding out a recipe and that is it. It's really getting to understand what they eat, how they eat, when they eat. It could be a meal that is used for celebrations. I mean, they might eat it in their home frequently, but it's specific for a celebration. So that's what we mean by a full story. It'll have
And
several
then-
components.
And then also for partial stories, we may have a section like meet the people of North Hill, and you might be doing some small pieces for that based on your time and availability. Or maybe you love taking photographs and you can help share some of the photos you've taken on Slack that others might be able to use for their components and their stories. So, it's a team effort. So, we'll be working with you guys to kind of gauge your interest and your availability. There's definitely some events already scheduled in the community, and Saturdays, if you have time on Saturdays, Himalayan Music Academy is in session on Saturdays. Several of the arts groups that are doing weaving with the Bhutanese women and sewing with the women, and I'm going to start doing some jewelry making with the community. So there's certain times where you can come and meet potential, people that could be featured in the stories more casually first. We highly recommend that you do that, and we can help facilitate some of that, like going to the restaurant to eat together and meeting informally with the restaurant owner. And then setting up some time where you can follow up and do your story or do more video, etc. So, did that answer?
That was perfect, yeah.
Okay.
And then, and by doing that, you also start to develop those skills and those cross-cultural skills that'll help you when you're interviewing in order to formulate better questions and that too.
We have submitted curriculum to DC to be reviewed, and this week we should be able to share with you the other different modules. But there'll be modules that'll feature interviewing techniques, and Puspa's gonna share with us the cultural aspects on how to best set up your interview and how to ask questions appropriately to get the best response from the Nepali Bhutanese community, and they tend to be rather shy, so he can help us to have some insight in how to help make them comfortable and to help match us with people who are not going to be quite so shy about telling their stories too.
And to do it in a culturally appropriate way. So Puspa is going to be a big help with giving us guidance on that.
And then Chris Miller has shared some of his modules about telling stories with photos, telling stories with video, some of the concerns with legalities to make sure that you're, cognizant of the getting approval for photos and video and appropriate information. And Chris, do you want to add anything to that if you're there with us?
Yeah, I'm here. A lot of those modules were written a few years back, and I know a lot has changed since then. So I'm happy to offer some updates. Had I the time, I would have put together a module about storytelling in the goldfish attention span age, where people have no attention spans whatsoever. So now, right now when I cover stories, I'll often do multiple versions. I'll do like an Instagram version, which is just a couple hundred words and a couple good photos. Do a longer piece for the website, a 1-minute video to accompany it with a visual. So I'm happy to help evolve your storytelling to really match our current attention span and viewer habits and whatnot. So yeah, so anyways, I think there's a lot I can add to some of these if I have some one-on-one time with some of you journalists. So
great. All right, well, we're getting close to our end time, but I want to ask if there's any other questions out there. Any comments? What do you think about this opportunity?
I'm feeling very excited, and I just feel honored to be able to do this with you guys. I'm really just want this is like the exact type of work I want to do. I mean, I know I said that in my introduction video, but I can't wait to meet these people and kind of just hear their stories and learn more about their culture and possibly go to Serbia. So I feel good about it. I'm glad we did this web seminar. It helped me kind of make things more tangible.
Great.
Fantastic.
Anybody else want to make a comment about what they've heard and how they're feeling about the type of work you're going to be doing?
Yeah, I totally agree with what Taylor just said, that I'm kind of a more hands-on learner, and to know about the program a little bit beforehand, this just made it even more concrete in understanding what exactly we're doing. But I'm very excited to actually go out there and jump right in. I think that will get all of our minds knowing exactly what we're doing, get our thought processes and our creativity going into creating this actual project.
How are you feeling, Ramon?
Oh, I'm stoked. Like, I'm so happy to be able to work with you, Michelle, and Juan and Chris Miller.
And what about Teresa?
And Puspa, of course.
And Puspa.
Oh, yeah, I'm really excited to work with you guys. I know Chris is there, Michelle, Teresa, everyone. So yeah, I'm very excited, like sharing our stories, our work, in the community, and bring those things from there and use here in our community. So I'm really excited.
I think when, just to share with you, we got notified that we got the grant in October, was it? But it was around
August.
Okay, September. Oh, it was closer to September, and so we've had to bring this together rather quickly. That's good on the one hand because we don't want to have things that are so detailed that you're just working with it. We do have a template, but we really wanted to offer up an opportunity where you could be really creative and explore. So be cognizant of the template so that we have like an overarching way of presenting it, but we don't want to dictate, okay, now you have to have this and you have to have 110 words or anything like that. We really want to give you an opportunity to explore, to learn from these different modules that have been shared by our mentors and experts, and then to see where you can also take it. So we hope you feel the freedom, the creativity, and the flexibility to do that. And I think your mentors will give you some great guidance on that also.
Okay, and I'll just do my closing statements here real quick too. For next steps, I will be sending to you right after this meeting your invitation to Slack to go ahead and get signed in. Then you can work at your own pace on the modules for week 1. And then we will be sending a survey out towards the end of the week just to kind of get some of your input and start to narrow down some of your interest areas. We'll also be working on the calendar. We have not set the date for the next online meeting yet. You guys are all extremely busy and very hardworking students, so we're sorting through your calendars, and I just want to let you know that we may be doing some meetings at different times during the day, but we will be recording the meeting. So if for some reason you can't join us for one of the sessions, then we will ask you to go and watch the recording of that session. And then there'll be some, the calendar will include some upcoming dates that are not mandatory for you to attend, but great opportunities for you to meet informally with community members that may pique your interest in featuring them in one of your stories. The first one that may be coming up would be right now, and you can do this on your own too, over at Summit Art Space. There is currently a Nepali, Bhutanese, and other refugee poetry exhibit. And you can go there and read the poems, learn a little bit more about the individuals and their backgrounds that wrote them, and do an interactive poetry writing yourself.
Taylor, have you seen that?
I actually help set that up. I work with the Poetry Center that
Okay. Yeah.
does that. Yeah, so I got to be their opening night and got to meet a lot of those people, and they have a really amazing stories. So if you guys have any questions about that, I am here to talk. It's really great. You guys should check it out.
Yeah, and we're hoping to bring back a few of the poets and to have, if Poos was available or one of his friends, to have some music and get together there on February the 17th, which is the closing of the poetry exhibit. So we're talking to them right now. More information, we're working on some venues for our launch event, and that will be very exciting. We have already met with the Akron Public Library for the Exploring the World Through Stories event, and we'll give you some more information on that, but that will be featuring our Serbian delegation while they're here, and some of the stories that you have written and storytelling that is at the level of young children to tell the stories of their cultural history and pique their interest. So
we're hoping you get really engaged in the project, not just going one time and getting involved with one person, but getting to know the community so that, not only are you a citizen journalist, but you're also a global ambassador. And I think, those two combined are pretty powerful, and powerful for you and powerful for our diverse community here.
Our hope and dream is that this is just the very first magazine issue. We are hoping to get funds, so this is going to be something that would continue in the future with featuring other cultural groups in our community and connecting to other locations around the globe. And, hopefully bringing together diverse groups within our community, but really trying to nurture building mutual understanding and awareness. And, hopefully for the future, people will be more curious and to not have as many stereotypes and really get to know our community and appreciate its fullness. So that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We can't wait to meet you in person down the road, and we'll be in touch with a calendar and dates and times for the next interview or next call. Have a great week.
Do you want us to be, if we can make it to the next call, do you want us on Tuesday or no?
We'll be repeating on Tuesday the same.
Oh, okay.
So you don't need to be on tomorrow's call.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. All right. Have a good week, everybody.
Bye, you too.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you guys so much.
Bye.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Puspa. Juan.
Thanks, everybody. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.